All right, let's kick off some historic, huh? So this is a build-around submission. We played against someone that was playing Fall of the Thran yesterday, or the day before, it was 2 days ago. And they had Night of the Reliquary, and I kept expecting to get Bojuka Bogged, and it just never happened. So today I put together a variation of this idea to see what it could do. You really know how to charm a girl. Welcome back, Cube. I knew this one. I knew I had to. It's like I felt like I had to tag you while casting this card, like I tagged Teferi when I'm playing Merfolk. Yeah, you can't just play a different profile. All your profiles share an island on the same switch. Each switch gets one island. It's very silly. So what this deck is looking to do is this destroys all lands, and then each player returns 2 lands from their graveyard to the battlefield. And what we can do with this is we can search up Bojuka Bog with Night to exile the opponent's graveyard so that way they don't get all of their lands back. Or we could sacrifice Remorseful Cleric to exile their graveyard and make sure they don't get their lands back. Night of the Reliquary can act as a ramp spell. We've got Gilded Goose and Llanowar Elves to accelerate us to the bottom end of our curve. We've got Agonizing Remorse as a touch of interaction. And we've got Trail of Crumbs here as a source of card advantage that can find our key cards in addition to generating card advantage with Gilded Goose. So let's go ahead and hop on into some matches here with this. Hopefully we run into some Field of the Dead decks and get to have a good time. I would be surprised if our field matchup is too terrible. If we run into aggro, we might have a tough time. Easy bottom of Bojuka Bog here. Yeah, Nexus is another combo deck that relies on getting its lands going, so destroying lands should be good there too. So I have 4 copies of Maelstrom Pulse in my deck. So like, even if we destroy their lands after they make some zombies, we can clean those up. We can also block them. Yeah, Breach doesn't explicitly care about losing its lands, but main deck Remorseful Cleric and Bojuka Bog are both very reasonable against Breach. I think I'm going to take the Goose here. That's like another card that, oh, it doesn't make a food! Oh, no! Press Y to honk for the Goose, chat. It's been denied its food. Sweet memes are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the 7 seas. Gosh, Hushbringer turns off this too? That's so brutal. All right, there's a good one. These monsters coming for our memes. Of course, Ghost. If you're someone that's here on the weekend and you're enjoying some Weekend Hooglandia because you can't normally watch during the week, a little bit of happy upside for you all during this time of strife in the world. I'm going to be doing regular weekend streams moving forward. Did I update the wrong deck on Stream Decker? It's very possible. Yeah, it is. I just saw the Abzian part and clicked. I don't know what their hand could be. They're holding, I mean, they can't be holding up Frilled Mystic, right? Because, like, they have Hushbringer. Is this all the basics in my deck? Am I out of basics? I have one more forest. I think I'm holding on to my lands for now. I have one more forest, right? I want to wait one more turn on this. If I could find a cleric or... That's super unfortunate. Very punished. Just flooded out here for a little too long. Yeah. Needed to find a cleric, a knight, or a bog much sooner. Hey, thanks for the 12 months, Elemental Whisper. Let's get your sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. They're probably slow enough the Crucible is fine. Nightmare Shepherd seems real bad. They're slow enough that extra bog's probably fine. I don't know that I want extra discard spells. I'm just gonna run it back and hope to run a little bit better. How's days as far? Been all right. Both standard and modern were a bit of a dumpster fire. Just getting started with historic now, but pretty good lineup for historic. Hopefully it goes well. Fabled Passage costing us a little bit here. They have to be playing Teferi time, rather, right? Maybe. Actually, you know what? Speaking of, another direction we could build this deck in, instead of playing these couple of black cards, we could definitely splash. We could definitely splash blue instead, because if you have Teferi time Raveler in play, you can play the Destroy All Land cards and then bounce it before the other parts of the saga happen. Oh, that's super unfortunate. Was not expecting that after all the creatures that they've played. We've had a lot of people in Historic who have played like a ton of creatures and then also just had randomly had sweepers in their deck. This is far from the first opponent to do that in this format to us. Peak Magic is boarding in an extra land and then still missing your third land drop on 3, though. It's not that different from my normal life, Bebo. Christy and I just eat less takeout than we normally did pre all of this. And by less, I mean none. Yeah, I could sacrifice this to deny them the card draw, but I think I want to keep this in case we can find our enchantment. No, we're doing the responsible thing and not getting takeout. Every time you have contact with other people, you're taking a risk of transmitting and spreading things, and takeout is risk of transmission and spreading things for 1 or 2 meals, whereas going to the grocery store is risk of transmission for, 2 weeks worth of meals if you're doing it right.
Here we go.
What's going on, Bob? We've been live for about 3 hours. Yes, paid subs do auto-renew by default on Twitch. It's one of the things that it tells you if you actually read the terms of service that it sets up. Not that most people do that. As far as this deck goes, Bob, you're probably just, because you donate for this, you're probably asking how much you missed of this one. This deck specifically, we've been playing for 15 minutes. Match 1, game 2. I'll take the goose. All right, we're gonna get to do the thing. Should there just be more Bojuka Bogs in this deck? There should probably just be more Bojuka Bogs in this deck, huh? Is that, I feel like that's the plan.
I've got it.
And they know what's coming, so they're just playing this back out here. So we get to do this, destroy all the lands. And then we get to Bojuka Bog them, exile their graveyard. Oh, the Teferi's gonna do us dirty though, right? Because now the Teferi gets to bounce the fall and then we don't get our lands back. Yeah, I guess they're just hoping to kill us with the Hydrate Crisis. Yeah. I don't know. I'd do it again. This is what we were talking about. It's very possible our deck should just be banned for Teferi. Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna rebuild this really quick and flip the black cards into blue cards. I think that actually seems pretty reasonable. Oh, wrong Amzan deck. Because we could play Bojuka Bog as just an off-color thing, right? We could play this as an off-color thing. We just like churn every black source other than Bog into blue sources. Yeah. This seems pretty okay. I might actually just want 2 Bogs in here too, the way that last game played out. Seems like it's probably not unreasonable. The whole sideboard in this deck was black cards though. I need an island. Like how you type, is that real? You type island and basic island doesn't show up? How is that real? I literally have island written in the search box and it doesn't search up basic island, just search up things that have. All right. Filters. Got it. Got it. Because it gives color. Okay, so like, it's weird that it gives color identity to these things. This is not a blue card, this is a colorless card. So I'd like the record to reflect that I feel my anger is still founded. This is not a blue card. My sideboard just completely different now? Probably. Yeah, probably just like strokes and vetoes and stuff, huh? Gust. Ashiok, yep. Ashiok's a good. Ashiok is probably a card that could have been in the sideboard of the other one, too. Hey, GI7, thanks for the 3rd of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Meddling Mage. I don't think Meddling Mage is a very good card. Sorry. Sorry to break the hearts of the Chris Bakulas out there. I'm going to put this into play to start on, just so I have untapped land on 2 and 3 guaranteed. If we're playing blue, jamming Uro in here could be correct. I could see that.
quick for this.
Why is Tameo useful?
Keep an open mind.
I think cutting the food package doesn't make a lot of sense because if you look at my deck has an incredible number of 3-mana spells. So maxing out on things that accelerate me, it makes a lot of sense in my opinion. If you think it makes sense to not be doing that, please explain.
Let's slow this down. Enough. I'll protect you.
No, Thrashing Brontodon. So, Knight of Autumn is better against things like Wilderness Reclamation, but Thrashing Brontodon is much better against red aggro. What's going on, oldest son?
I tell mommy, hi.
Did you know today's mommy's birthday?
Yeah, a gold egg.
It is a golden egg, you're right.
That a gold egg card.
It is a golden egg card.
Well, it's about a card is about egg card.
You like the egg card?
What kind of egg? Where is that egg card? Like a card?
It is a golden egg card.
I want to change color.
Oh, you want to change the kitty's color?
Green.
You like the green one?
Right.
I like the green one too. Alright, so I think the plan here is we'll put Remorseful Cleric into play by sacrificing a land here.
Back crazy.
That's crazy. And then we'll go ahead and Bojuka Bog, and then next turn we can fall plus sacrifice the cleric to take all their lands away. Which sounds great.
Hey, Daddy, I tell Mommy, I tell Jacob, I tell my mom.
What do you want to tell your mom? You want to watch something in the basement?
Yeah, I told my mom, yeah, you. I told my mom. I told my mom.
Okay, I'll give you something to pick up. I mean, to be fair, in non-Bant, we had Maelstrom Pulse, but like this is kind of like a Maelstrom Pulse that we can find with Trail of Crumbs, right? Close the door behind you, bud. So even if we don't draw a land here, we can use Knight of the Reliquary to kill their thing, or to make a mana. And we have Teferi ensuring that they can't, we have Teferi ensuring that they can't play spells. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it. All right, so Disdainful Stroke sounds great here. Do you guys like have a deal where you just like always come in here one after another? I feel like you coordinate.
Open to be.
Okay, you have to eat these upstairs though at the table. There, they're open a little bit. Eat them at the table upstairs. Close the door. I love you. I'm not. Thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. They have a very strict schedule, right? It certainly feels like it. Here to cast my plowshares into swords. Seriously, though, stay safe. Thanks for the content. Thanks for the entire year of Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Ah, sure. Is Knight Pioneer legal? It is not. Okay. Well, it's a pretty good post sweeper pickup. I don't understand your question, Sunshine. Are you saying what happens if you like Aether Gust the Rejuvenator with its trigger on the stack? Oh, the ETB. Okay, so yeah. You're missing a word. Got it.
There are so many mysteries to uncover. Meditate and prepare.
I'm not up a gaming TV. Where is it?
He's such a... You can tell Jake's the patient child. He was just like sitting out there waiting for his show to come up on the TV, and I didn't realize it was on the wrong input. I sent it to the correct Chromecast, but alas. And the TV was on the wrong input. So, unsurprised to see them block here. Protect their Narset. Yeah, Arrow could be okay. I don't know that I really have that much room for more ramp, though. Like, I have 12 pieces of acceleration in the deck. We've got 4 Goose, 4 Llanowar Elves, 4 Knight of the Reliquary. I suppose we could trim Deputies of Detention, but I kind of like having a little bit of interaction in the main. I think trimming 1-mana acceleration for 3-mana acceleration is not generally a good plan. Anybody who wants to cut 1-mana acceleration out of this deck, I'd implore you to really look at the curve that this deck has. And think about why that's probably not a good idea. All right, if we draw a fall next turn, we get to get in them. We get to get in them with this.
Trust me. You'll thank me later. Stop. There was nothing.
Dude, I don't think I want to play another night out. Because, like, this Tamiyo could pick a sweeper up on us. Although maybe I'm supposed to play another night so that way I can pressure the Tamiyo through the Fae of Wishes. Because they could go, like, Tamiyo plus Fae here. We have bounced the goose and replayed it to get them their food. Yeah, I could have, but there's like combinations of things I could draw that punish me for like trying to use that mana in that way. So I think that's like not a particularly good play because of the potential punishment that could result. It's like a really small upside play for like potentially large downside. So the risk to reward expectation there is pretty bad. So we'll see them pick up Time Wipe here then.
Ask about any lunar anomalies you have experienced.
Oh, I can bog them in response to their pickup. Yeah, that's super true. We have 2 bogs in our deck.
I think you will find my notes helpful.
They can also just like plus a Neem Time Wipe and hit it though. I don't know that holding the knight is necessarily bad. Yeah, they plus naming Time Wipe assuming we have a bog. Yeah, they're an Omniflood deck. I think there's a blue-green Omniflood variation in my deck queue at the moment. Yeah, Flooded Tears was in the revealed card zone last game for sure. Grab Fabled Passage here to kind of... The thinning is pretty insignificant. The adding a second land to our graveyard is relevant, though, for making Night bigger. What if I crank this up to 2, huh? And then, like, I crack this next turn, and it kills all of these. And then, like, I get to kill Tamiyo, too. Yeah, that sounds great, right? Guess this will be my 6th land in the bin for Night of the Reliquary. Or we just do that, right?
Trust me, I have a plan.
New plan. Don't mind me. She's a big gal, chat. She's a big gal. Yeah, sacking the mana rock in response to losing their lands is an interesting decision. You could probably make the argument that Knight of the Reliquary makes the Rockin' World go round. I think there's a strong case to be made that Knight of the Reliquary makes the Rockin' World go round. I think it's probably what you could say. All right, so definitely doing this. Another merit to the mana dorks, by the way, for people that were talking about potentially cutting mana dorks, is that the mana dorks, are mana sources that survive Fall of the Thran. Okay, so do I bog them here? I think I just want to bog them here, right? Rather than attack anything. We can bog on our upkeep. Oh, we totally can. Okay, yeah, so we'll just kill Tamiyo here. Yeah, we could totally bog next turn still. I can even bog in response to this trigger. Although, I don't need to, right? They're just dead. This is up to. No, this isn't up to. I'm obligated to return. So these are going to shrink and not be able to kill them. Well, that's sad. Bojuka Bog. This deck's kind of sweet. Oh, Passage plus Blast Zone could have killed them. That's a good thought. Yeah, I think you're right. No, you can't fail to find lands in your graveyard because your graveyard's a public zone. You can't fail to find from revealed zones. It's fine. I have a Disdainful Stroke here, so like they can't sweep us next turn. I think we're a lock. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. I could bog during my main phase into my draw step if I want the mana. Gosh, I really hope we can find a Field of the Dead deck in this set. It's like all I want out of life. And then it also fails. Like, in addition to failing to reconnect, I also have to kill the application and restart it. Which is real bad. That's extra unfortunate too, because now I'm gonna have to do video editing to put this archive up, so the video archive of this deck is gonna be late getting to YouTube tonight now. Nah, this has nothing to do with quarantine. I have fiber internet, which gives me a dedicated connection directly to my house. And this is an issue that happened before all the whole world went to nonsense. This isn't amazing, but I think it's in the range of keepable. It happened because you joined the stream, Justin. Let's see about that. Is Justin the first crown? No, I think that was, I believe that was Anoronics from way back when. They had big bit badges before the crowns existed.
Thank you. Trust me, I have a plan.
Anner's still around. He resubbed during yesterday's stream, in fact. He's always mostly watched on YouTube. Well, I looked at my hand, and I concluded that it sucked, but it was probably still better than my average hand, so it was worth keeping.
Longer. Stand by and watch. Let's try this. Here goes nothing. Time for practice? Might be a bad idea.
So, I think my plan here is to bounce their thing, and then I'm gonna deputy their Teferi, and then play another Teferi and plus it, and then next turn I can fall Bojuka Bog their graveyard, Teferi bounce their Niv after they replay it. We could also see them Vraska this turn. That could be bad for us potentially. Suppose we can get Toll Smeared as well, though. I'm kind of hoping they just, like, redeploy Niv here.
You show remorse.
I think I'm still just killing their lands.
That's more like it. No, I am not making this up as I go.
I don't know if it's the right play, but it's definitely the fun play, so let's do it. This is what we're here for, right? Oh, they can bounce Thran again. Right, we had someone else do this to us, right? Hey, Source, 6 to 21 months. Yeah, for folks that are coming in. If you're into weekend streams, you're going to be happy. Weekend streams are going to become the norm here in Hoaglandia moving forward. Let's see if they see it. They missed the line.
I've done the hero thing before.
They missed the line, chat. Oh no! Oh, I just got 2 lands that don't let me. I'm so dumb. I'm just completely disfocused after the internet dropping out and then OBS crapping. Let's see if they miss it again or if they realize what they're supposed to do. Nope, still missing it. God bless. Alright, what am I casting this turn? I have a land in my hand. They're supposed to bounce Fall of the Thran, so I didn't get my lands back. For people that aren't familiar with the mistake I'm referring to that our opponent's making, they're supposed to bounce my Fall of the Thran so I don't get lands. I didn't really have a better line of play, so I couldn't play around it. Like, we were really far behind. Yeah, the opponent elected not to bounce Fall of the Thran. And to be fair, like, the play pattern isn't super intuitive, right? Like, we're not exactly playing a meta deck here. But yes, they definitely should have bounced our enchantment. I would have lost if they would have bounced this. We might still lose, but kind of unlikely. Trail of Crumbs for next turn. Let's get rid of that. Let's play an elf. Gain 3, draw 2.
Another time, another Thomas.
You want another Thomas? Alright, I got you. Thomas the Tank Engine indeed. It seemed pretty reasonable so far, GMP. We haven't played that many games. We're still early. Okay, there's their Teferi back.
No more games.
Just lets them bounce this. Yep. What are the odds there's basic lands in their deck? Probably high. They're probably play Fabled Passage. No, been a good variety in the range of matches so far. Goose. Baffling End. So we get to go Goose, Elf, Baffling End, your Paradise Druid here since they decided to tap that. Oh, 5-year-olds and leaving doors open. 6-year-olds. How old is he? 6.
Don't worry, I got this.
Internet stutter was definitely on your end. My internet does not have any frame rate drop issues. It's just having this issue where it randomly just like it does a full connection drop for like half a second. And if OBS wasn't bugged, it probably wouldn't even be a big deal. OBS is supposed to reconnect when it drops off like that. And for just whatever reason, it's not. Yeah, I'd probably want to follow the Thran them again next turn. That's probably a reasonable conclusion.
Oh, I've done the hero thing.
It gets the Knights real big, too. Brutal. So, yeah, I guess it could be the ISP. Other people in other parts of the house have said that it's not. Christy says, like, they don't notice a hiccup, but it could just be that their services are buffered enough that they don't notice the disruption of service, whereas, like, streaming requires a constant connection. Guess I'll take this. No, again, like, people talking about things related to all the insanity that's going on in the world right now. The issues with my line were happening before things like that started happening. It isn't easy to test Chalky because it hasn't happened for the last week, right? So, like, I can't, like, setting up a stream and then, like, I'm monitoring it constantly for things that happen sporadically once or twice per week, if not less than that, is tough. I don't know what we're supposed to do this turn. I think I'm just supposed to pass. I'm gonna play this in plus. If it happened constantly, you're right, it's easy to debug, but it happens so infrequently. I need to just go file. Honestly, it's probably easier to file a bug report with OBS and get them to fix whatever their lack of reconnection is than it is to debug the actual internet issue. Because part of the problem is it wouldn't be a big deal if I'm about to get like Deafening Clarion here. What's Christy's review of Animal Crossing? It's incredibly stupid that different profiles on the same Switch have to use the same thing, the same island. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it. All right, so Aether Gust sounds good here. Disdainful Stroke may or may not be good here. Yes, it seems like a feature that would be fine if, like, this was optional or in addition to the other thing, but it definitely should not be the only way to play the game. I'm doing all right. Historic is proving to continue to be my favorite format very easily. Is Control not a thing in Historic? It's not as omnipresent as Control is in the current Standard environment. There are playable Control decks, but they're not like every third match. Yeah, it seems like a way to push people to own multiple Switches, yeah. Lord Humongous, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. This is like pretty medium for us if they go like Red Source Clarion here. Also not stellar against Maelstrom Pulse.
I'm known for my excellent fight. Let's try this.
Yeah, I just really feel like the play patterns of the top decks in Standard right now are really pretty rancid overall. Just not a huge fan of a lot of the play patterns of the better decks.
Time for plan B. I've got it. I've got time.
No, Jace, I don't wail on shards. I have like 5 or 6 champions. I'm still have a backlog that I want to 6-star already. My account has a decent number of epics on it.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Do I do this and then bounce it? I think so. I think that's the play.
Trust me, I have a plan.
Peace was never an option, Teferi. Whoa! Did it just skip my goose attack animation? I feel so cheated, chat. I feel so robbed. It skipped my goose attack animation.
Here we go.
Can someone let Half Quarter know in chat that any internet issues they're having are on their end? They had more lands than hand, that's cheating, right? Alright, so I'm going to eat my food in response to Teferi trying to eat it, so that way they don't draw a card. Probably dead if they run it all average from here. Just up B. I don't understand why Twitch doesn't fix something so that this isn't a week after a new year sub. Because that not being at the same time as when you sub is technically a feature, not a bug. It's technically a feature, not a bug. They rolled that out intentionally. I forget what the exact reason is, but I believe they consider that to be a feature. for us. Yeah, it has something to do. That change happened when they changed how sub streaks work, and I don't know. I think it's dumb. I think it's unintuitive and confusing at best. And when something like that directly impacts people who are paying you money in a very confusing way, you should adjust it so it makes sense to the people who are paying you. Alright, let's take game 3 on the play, huh? Got all revved up with nowhere to go there, unfortunately. I think I'm happy with how I boarded. Just gonna go ahead and run it back. Just plan to draw some threats this game. What does the opponent's block look like? Irrelevant. They have plenty of time. The match timer in Magic Arena is really long. Sure. Yeah, they have 21 minutes. I have 18. I have 18 minutes with my internet having died. Did it die this game? No, it died a different match, right? It's been a long set. Really hoping to draw a third land so that way Trail of Crumbs can help us find more lands after that. Untapped land would be ideal here. Goose isn't terrible. I mean, reading chat and answering questions while I play makes me slower than I would normally play without it, but in general, I tend to be up on clock on my opponents on average. If you pay attention to when we talk about clock on stream, it's actually pretty rare that I end up down. We've had a number of points in these games where I just went into the tank because I wasn't sure exactly what we were supposed to be doing with the current point we were at. I think I'm supposed to just Aether Gust them here and then play another Trail of Crumbs. They're gonna play Maelstrom Pulse next turn. I'm gonna be really sad. You Armageddon, but couldn't kill them a couple times. By a couple of times, you mean once? You mean exactly the one time that you just watched? Oh, Twitch chat. Do you need to make big changes to your deck based on the anecdote I just witnessed, Jeff? But Jeff, my anecdote. I think I want to hold up Aether Gust next turn, so I'm just going to go ahead and play Goose out here and pass. Ha! Nice, Dwight. What about my anecdote? It has lots of money behind it. Your anecdote is the best. The bigliest, bestliest anecdote I've ever seen, Beetle. Hi, Ove. Thank you for the absurdly generous tier 3 resub. I appreciate that. Be sure to let me know if there's a deck already in the queue you'd like to bump up or submit your new deck idea through the forum on my website. Tier 3s can submit any Magic Arena format each month. Alright, that's a knight. Let's start by digging for some lands. Leave the bog in our deck to search up for later. Maybe I'm not supposed to play this out, because it's another thing that dies to Clarion here. I don't think I'm playing around a counterspell here, right? Well, I can't upkeep get a Bojuka Bog because people like read. All right. I'm just listen. People who have mod swords that don't read magic cards deserve 10-minute breaks. Stop it. Get some help. Thanks for the 43 months, Andrew. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
Right on schedule.
Just cheat, Jeff. The Twitch chat mantra. Why didn't I don't understand why you didn't just cheat, Jeff. Could you please elaborate on why you didn't cheat? It would have been a valid line in paper. You're not wrong. Yes, Teferi bouncing their creature after you get in them is like just pretty peak magic. All right, and now we'll bog them so that way they don't get 2 more lands back here. You want another Thomas show? I got you, kid. Close the door behind you, please.
Oh, so.
Netflix is killing me, and all of these Thomas series that he's watching, they're separate individual episodes. They're not like all wrapped up in a season. Actually got the door closed. Look at that. Well, there's the other one. What are you doing, child?
I'm playing a game of
All right. I told them to go upstairs and bother their mother. Part of the reason I'm streaming on the weekend is so she can wrangle them while I actually work. I love them. They're great, but a constant stream of hey dad is like that felt coordinated, right? It was like boom, 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 like back to back to back. So they have Maelstrom Pulse here for my knight. At least Mother Nature is telling us this time too. Is the weather bad outside? They'll only get more organized as they get older, likely. Okay, just looking for a Fall of the Thran here. Probably the elf, honestly. Okay, yeah, so we just like plus this. We like play this elf. We drop the hammer. We Bojuka Bog them. Just good, clean living. I don't know if this deck is good, chat, but it's certainly great. This is Twitch chat, the historic deck. If there was ever a historic deck for Twitch chat, it's certainly this one. Sweet memes are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody memeing for something. I know it's disappointing that I didn't take another Fall of the Thran, but I do think I need to make some land drops here. There's one forest in my bin, one island in my bin, forest in my hand, forest in my hand, forest. So there's one more forest in my deck, I believe. So I didn't attack with the elf because if they like bounced or killed this, I didn't want them to be able to attack my Teferi. I don't think it really matters. This is just gonna be abyssing them here in a moment, right? She's a big gal. Do I want more clerics in my deck? I feel like I want more clerics in my deck. It's like okay at attacking them, and it technically is like a combo piece. I don't know how many lands have been destroyed, but I think this should cover the land D bits. Excellent. Solus, thanks for the third of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Do I really need Crucible? I'm not sure that I do. If I like do this and like slide these into the sideboard and like go up to 4 clerics. Do we like that? I think I like that. Crucible for the mirror. Yeah, something like that. All right, let's do one more. And then we'll slide along to some Yarok Field, huh? If you ever join late and you're not sure what our deck is doing, you can always type !deck in chat. Get a direct link to the deck list. It's also available on your stream via the Stream Decker widget overlay. If you want to make a card recommendation, I'd always encourage you to make good, strong card recommendations. Tell me why I should add that card, what problem it solves, etc., etc. I think if we felt we wanted another threat, Uro would be a fine additional threat to add. I'm not sure I feel like I need another threat at the moment. I'm going to play Trail of Crumbs here, and then I'm going to go ahead and just pass the turn, because Knight can fetch me an untapped land, which will let me activate this turn. Hey, Dragia, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oaklandia. Baffling End's probably textless here. It's a fine draw. We're just like digging. We're just digging for like Teferis and Thrans at this point, right? I'm just gonna sit here and activate my Knight, get it a little bit bigger. We've not played against Fielded, unfortunately. I appreciate the sub. I'd also ask that you please never refer to anything in our children's card game here as cancer. Trust me when I tell you that whatever you're experiencing in your children's card game is in no way, shape, or form comparable to something that literally kills people. Be respectful of other people and their experiences in my spaces. I mean, we have Teferi to beat counterspells, right? Do I commit another threat into... Do I commit another threat into a possible sweeper? I feel like the answer is no. I think I'm just gonna pass here. It's a little unfortunate. So, I guess the plan here is to go Knight of the Reliquary, play this, use Goose to cast Deputy to take the Bell Hunt, and then will Llanowar Elves attack this for lethal. This, like, leaves us pretty medium in the face of a sweeper because they'll get their Bell Haunt back, but I think this is correct to take their 5-mana Planeswalker off the table.
Here we go.
They shocked in a land, so I'm kind of expecting a counterspell here. They could just have a removal spell for my deputy, though, and, like, empty my hand out, too. Modern is as modern does, chat. Yeah, it's a shame that this wasn't a land we could sacrifice tonight.
That's more like it.
Why no knight in response to the trigger to get bogged? Because that's not how Magic the Gathering works. If you knight in response to the trigger, the lands aren't in the graveyard yet. For people that don't understand how Magic works. If you knight in response to the trigger, this trigger hasn't happened yet to destroy the lands. So kind of think through the ordering of what's happening there. So now, in response to this trigger, I'm going to float green and then bog them. Bojuka Bog. So now they won't get 2 lands back, and we will. I'm not sure, Punchworthy. I'm going to wrap up one of the streams this week with it, I think. Yes, their search for Escanta is not flipping anytime soon, so they need untapped land plus Kaya's Wrath or Shadow this guy here. Feels Magic the Gathering, man. Man, I almost cast the second fall too, but like they needed like exactly that. Second Trail's actually an incredibly good draw here. Let's just draw 2. Perfect. Trail of Crumbs finding the Eternity Bear combo piece is great. So Toxic Chip, rather than me telling you that your card recommendation is bad, tell me why it's good. Tell me what problem you think my deck has that is solved by the recommendation you are making. I mean, deck veto. Yep. Again, I'd encourage people who are trying to learn how to deck build and evaluate cards, don't focus on picking cards that are just synergize with your deck or do a thing. Say, this is a problem my deck feels like it's having, and this card potentially addresses that problem in this way. identify problems and then try and figure out solutions to the problems that you've identified.
Don't make another move. I know my responsibility. I won't trust it. I have a plan. Keep up the pace.
Keep up the pace. Maybe I should have played the other cleric there instead of replaying the goose. That way I had 4 power to pressure their planeswalker. That's probably what I should have done. Alright, well, I mean, this lets me exile their graveyard. So search isn't flipping anytime soon. Yep.
You show remorse. I'll show restraint.
Intuition, 5-color bad stuff. A lot of magic deck design is theory and based on experience. Being results based versus identifying problems in large part is related to being able to take a step back and think about, okay, the thing that just happened, how likely is that thing to happen again? Did that thing that just happened, is that the norm? Do I expect that to be a thing that happens every game? Or was this the exception and that's an outside of the norm experience for the matchup or game that I'm currently playing? So the amount you expect a thing to occur tends to be something that you would consider when thinking about, hey, am I being results-based or am I fixing a problem? What's their clock at? 25 minutes. Feel like this match will be decided by clock. Oh yeah, that's true. I'm actually at 22 minutes. This is only game 1. Yikes. Yeah, we really need, like, Deputy of Detention here. And even that, probably not really gonna do it. So, before we started, we played, like, half a match with an Abzian build before swapping to Bant. And not having something like Maelstrom Pulse as a way to really kill their things is definitely a real drawback to playing this archetype in these colors as opposed to playing the other colors with Pulse.
No time for a break.
Is there line to bounce Lily? How do I bounce Liliana? Can you tell me how you make that play? What card in my deck bounces Liliana? Yeah, Conqueror's Death would be really good. I agree. And that's a good example of identifying a problem versus being super results based, in fact. Just like, oh, it feels like we don't have answers to things that are sticking. I need efficient answers to those.
Enough.
Yeah, feel pretty dead here. I might just call it. I don't know that we have good tools in our sidebar. I guess we have some counter spells here. Let's swap it out and see how it goes. Get to bring in Disdainful Strokes and Ashioks. Thanks for apologizing, Dragia. I know colloquially that's accepted as like language people use in the gaming community. I prefer we don't use it in my spaces though. Welcome back, Twin. Get your release. Alright, sure. Yep. Not bad. I think I'm actually gonna bounce the Goose here. Just it like, lets me remake a food for 1 mana next turn. I shocked in the land because I needed a white mana.
You want me to phase you out of time?
So, I sacked my creature there because sacking my creature meant that my opponent didn't get to draw a card. May or may not be right.
This might be a bad idea.
Alright, so thoughts on this. One, Knight of the Reliquary overall continues to just be really, really impressive. Two, I feel like after playing some more games, I think I skipped off of the Abzan build a little bit too quickly. I think Maelstrom Pulse is one of the best cards in this format and is probably worth exploring the Abzan variation some more. I think the suggestion of, hey, play Elspeth Conquers Death in this build probably makes a lot of sense, though. If you're interested in staying in the Bant colors, Elspeth Conquers Death is kind of a catch-all style removal spell that Trails of Crumbs is capable of finding. Knight plus Remorseful Cleric plus Fall of the Thran seem pretty reasonable. If you're going to stay in blue, experimenting with Uro as an additional threat to close games out does not seem unreasonable. Just having Knight made us a little bit slow in some aspects. Maybe a pair of arrows could be okay. One thing I feel like I'm pretty confident on is don't cut these mana dorks. Like, these accelerate us into our 6 mana Geddon faster. Playing our 3 mana things ahead of curve is really good. Color fixing from Goose is great. Trail of Crumbs was just super impressive in those games, and Trail isn't playable without Gilded Goose in your deck, so I felt like this deck was doing something kind of novel, while also feeling like there could be something here if you really worked on it and tried to explore it a little bit more. We unfortunately didn't get to play against any Field of the Dead decks, which I think we should be a pretty natural predator to with Fall of the Thran, so long as we're playing something like Deputy or Maelstrom Pulse to clean up zombies that get into play before we blow all the lands up. Alright, at any rate, speaking of Field of the Dead, I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while I get things flipped over and everything restarted before the next deck. When we get back, we are going to kick the tires on my current favorite deck in Historic, which is playing a little bit more Yarok Field here. We'll be back in just a bit. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for hanging out today, folks.